Hi, Jeff Kuberstein here, Justice in Pittsburgh. Been a while, but there hasn't been a whole lot new on the case, so I wasn't going to just post just to post. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to all the mothers who have stayed with the fathers and all the rest of that stuff that goes on. Anyhow, with the case, it was left with the civil court judge granting the protection from abuse, restraining order, whatever sexual, protection order was in order for this, since they were not in a relationship. It's a different type of protection order. But with that said, the standard that was found with was preponderance of the evidence, or basically more likely than not that the incident occurred. The standard in a criminal case is beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much higher and much more difficult standard to obtain, in a court case. The court judge's opinion is what strikes and is so compelling. Her opinion, though preponderance of the evidence, was based upon what she determined to be facts. She determined to be true that Justice Jane was sexually assaulted. She determined to be true that Aaron Fetti committed the sexual assault on the victim, Justice Jane. Also, that Justice Jane was unable to consent to this. This was found as fact or as truth in order to reach the preponderance of the evidence which was needed to get the protection order. And when you try to get this into criminal court, there's a big difference. I believe, and I do check with attorneys on these things. I do know some very fine attorneys. One was my brother, and others I wouldn't have chose to know them, but in my life, things came up, and I do get advice, and they also tell me when I'm way off the mark, and they also tell me, you're stretching things a bit. Well, District Attorney Steven Zapala is correct. This would be a very difficult case, like any of these he said, she said cases would be. But the compelling factor is here that there was enough probable cause, certainly. If there's preponderance of the evidence that something was done, then there's probable cause to make an arrest here. And it should be done. Because without that being done, the message it sends to all female police officers is, you don't matter. We don't care. And we're not going to believe you, and pretty much go about your business and stop bothering us with this. Well, it's not the way it's supposed to be. There are consequences for every action, and that gets learned through life. This case clearly was found, this was a very strenuous, strong opinion, that these things had taken place. I believe it is now time to put it before a jury. If you're at preponderance of the evidence on these type of facts and this type of truth, let a jury decide. Now, the civil court judge decided, and also the victim here has an excellent criminal law attorney, from what I understand. And still bewildered by the fact there's been no civil litigation filed, but the attorneys know what they're doing. And while I like to jump into things and, don't have the knowledge that they have a plan. They know what they're doing, or she knows what she's doing. And she certainly showed that, by getting that very successful and, like I say, very opinionated and very strenuous ruling in the civil case. And I believe that should let the investigators know there's enough going on here that this is a question for a jury. And that's what I hope happens. I didn't post a lot because on the infinitesimal possibility that anything I say or do could influence in any way, I didn't want it to. The bottom line here is justice for the victim, and let's see if that does take place. And today, Father's Day, I got a puppy. I posted online. His name is Louie. Louis is a Havapoo. Louis is half Havanese, which is a little very expensive dog, and a poodle, which is also now a very little expensive dog. And we could thank Paris Hilton for all of that. Once she started carrying a little dog in her pocketbook, all of a sudden they went up from $1,200 to $3,500. And that's a problem. But only for the problem with people who want to buy dogs. Rescues are good. I have some logistical issues, so I wanted to make sure I got a puppy and I could train him from the word, from Jump Street. And that's what's going to happen. Also, let's get on to a totally different subject. Sure are a lot of cops getting killed out there. This is all because of, and nobody's going to like this, George Floyd, BLM, that whole nonsense with the media, okay, making the police into the bad guys. The police are not the bad guys, okay? They do not go out to harm anybody. Let's get it through people's heads. Maybe they'll learn, okay? A police officer does not come up to a burning building and ask what color the person is on the third floor before they run in to save them. They do not come up to a traffic accident and ask, hey, is that guy from a different country or a different nationality or religion I don't like, before they go to the vehicle that's been crushed and people bleeding and broken all over the place and try to help? No, they do not. They do their jobs. That's what they do. And now there are going to be a lot less of them doing their jobs because the public has decided that we're going to put you on trial looking at a cell phone video. All right? We're not going to give you any due process whatsoever. We are going to arrest you. You're going to lose your job. And then they'll tell you you'll have your day in court. Well, your day in court's going to cost you about $100,000. And that's not even covering the civil litigation that will follow afterwards. Okay? And the fact that you might never get a job again, depending on how the outcome of your trial and all the media nonsense and everything that comes along with it. This is not the way the founding fathers had it planned. Okay? They thought they'd go out into the town, find 12 people who knew nothing about the story, give them the evidence they had, and they would rule and come to a decision. Not 12 people who had been influenced and poisoned by Fox News and CNN and everybody else on TV that is going to decide the outcome of the case before a piece of evidence is even introduced. What country does that happen in? I don't know. Honduras? But the point is, society has some serious problems here. And one of them, we're destroying things that were established over a very long period of time and worked fairly well. So, my opinion is, let's focus on the problems that we really have and not try to blame them on what you happen to be as the flavor of the month taking the blame. And with that, I think I kind of ranted enough here, and I'm going to go, I think I'm going to have a puppy next Friday. So other than that, everybody have a great night, and we'll talk to you later on. And